Initiating podcast download. Prepare yourself. Put on your spandex. Lace up your boots. Wrap your wrists. Hide your razor blade. Head to gorilla position. Grease up your hair. Apply baby oil. Okay, apply more baby oil. Get into gimmick. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Have fun and be safe out there, brother. Welcome to Iron on Wrestling. Now your host, Gregory Iron.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to...
Pardon the interruption.
Oh, my God. What the hell?
Yeah.
Why? I didn't even say the number of the show.
I was going to, well, see, I had to get you off guard this time, more than normal. So, pardon the interruption. It's the eruption of disruption and corruption.
Okay.
All right, so I'm Aaron Bauer. This is my show.
No,
Welcome to
our
it.
show.
And this week we like to talk about things like
We like to talk about... Why
weather,
are you talking like that?
rain sometimes.
It's not raining today.
No, it did, though. And you know who has a good rain? It was Gunther, and that rain came to an end.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Sammy?
What do you think about Roman Reigns?
Oh, he had a rain and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is how we're starting the show, huh?
I don't know. How do you want to start the show?
I don't know.
Oh, hey. Okay,
Christ.
Sarah, you go, welcome everyone. Once again, this is Gregory Iron, the Iron on Wrestling podcast, and I'm your host, Gregory Iron.
Yep, 239.
And then this is episode 239. Oh, so fine.
Sure. Yeah, we can go with that.
And I'm drunk on wine.
We got a great show for you today. I'd like to point out that right off the bat, for some reason, if you listen to the show on Spotify, it did not upload last week. We're having issues figuring out why there's a problem with Spotify. I've wrote the server in which we put the podcast on. There might have been an issue on iTunes, but some people told me there was an issue. Well, one person did, and then multiple people told me there was not an issue. Last week's episode is available for free download over on our Patreon, patreon.com/irononwrestling. If you couldn't download it from the usual places that you download it from, I don't know. I guess I'll know as soon as possible what's going on with Spotify. Try to get that situation fixed. And, yeah, but if you want bonus content also, it's over on patreon.com/irononwrestling, where you get audio, video. You get the video before anybody else. As we produce more and more original videos, you will get your name in the credits. If you are on the Patreon, you get first dibs on questions and bonus podcast subjects. If you're on the Patreon, if you go up in the tiers, $5 will, of course, get you the bonus video on top of the audio. $9 gets you involved with the Zoom chat, which we should be doing sometime in the very near future. Might even do it on Thursday because I got some downtime, so we'll see what happens. And, yeah, it's a great way to support the show, and make sure you're following us on social media and all that good stuff.
Shout out to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, a new follower. I heard he's been listening to the show.
Is this true?
Yeah. I just said it, right?
That doesn't.
And then this is on the
definitely doesn't
internet?
make it true. No.
Well, shout out to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for that match at WrestleMania 3.
Okay.
The second best match on the card.
Let me ask you something right off the rip. So we did a review of Dynasty, the AEW pay-per-view, which you guys didn't hear because I accidentally deleted the show while editing last week, and I was really pissed off. And, of course, we ended up dropping a episode where I did a quick Dynasty review by myself, and I did an interview with Robbie Vegas over on his podcast, All Bets Are Off, a couple weeks back. So that was last week's episode. But when we talked about the Dynasty pay-per-view and the card that no one heard us talk about, one thing we touched on was the Bryan Danielson-Will Ospreay match. And real quick,
Yeah.
one of your thoughts, and I'll give you mine, of course.
What did I say?
A lot
Do
of
you remember?
You enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, you thought it was a very
Yes.
fun match of the show.
Yeah.
But my thing is, okay, many people on the interweb are claiming that this, in fact, was the best match in AEW history, and some people are saying the best match ever on American soil. Have you heard this?
Yeah. Maybe if we're just talking like athleticism or something, the way the match was worked,
Okay.
was I liked a lot of that. I
Yeah.
could see how people would think that. There wasn't enough story behind it for me,
Yeah.
so I just kind of looked at it like Mega or something had booked these two super indie talents, or these two talents to their super indie fed or something.
Yeah.
Just put on a match and said it was because each guy wanted to know who was the best wrestler.
Okay.
And so, like, that wasn't enough for me.
I very much enjoyed the match. Like I said, I think this match helped in making Ospreay a bigger star. I think there is more to do with Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson down the line. I don't think it's the best match in the history of American soil. I thought it was an incredible match. And
What do
you
you
know
think
what?
was the best match of all time? Shawn Michaels,
in America?
Undertaker? Yeah.
I don't know. I
Because that had story.
I'd really have to think about it. I mean,
Steamboat and Savage.
I might have to say, as much as I love Undertaker and Shawn, I think I might have to say Stone Cold and Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13.
Oh, yeah.
I
That
do
was all
think
right.
that's
Their
a
Survivor
really,
Series match was much better.
It was also an incredible match. But here's the thing. I wanted to actually talk about not what the best match on American soil is, but real quick, I don't think this is the best match in AEW history.
Yeah. What did you like better in AEW history?
So I would either pick my two
Casino
choices.
Battle Royal?
No,
Oh.
no. My two choices would be either it's very early on in AEW, and I think it still holds up. I went back and rewatched it. Cody and Dustin, okay, they had a war. Or I would say, and we watched it live together, I really enjoyed MJF versus Bryan Danielson. And if it's not the best match in AEW history, in your opinion, I find it hard-pressed for you to find a better Iron Man match ever. Like, when that match was over, I do think, and here's my thing, I think it's hard to say right after you watch something to be like, that was the best match in this category, or this was the best match of all time. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes we need time to be able to determine that. However, as soon as that Iron Man match is over, I looked at you. I was like, I think that was the best Iron Man match I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it was never boring for 60 minutes.
Right.
And I think linking that together, I think it's the best match in AEW history, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that you may be right. Both those counts. I never saw Dustin and Cody.
You're missing out.
I know. And I hear it's the greatest story, and there was tears, and there was blood, and there was sweat, and there was ass everywhere. So, I don't know. I do have to watch that. But I always don't want to watch it because I'm already past it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's old news. And I think that's part of, like, the whole YouTube thing. Like, you ever go through YouTube and you're like, what? Oh, that's a review from 2 days ago? I'm not watching that. Old news.
Yeah, well, you know, we move on very quickly now.
Yeah.
But, like, I think if it's something that people hold in high regard and, like, yo, you have to see this, or I consider this to be the best, if you haven't seen it, you have to see it, then I'll go out of my way for it, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Sting
Sting.
and Darby Allin.
Okay.
Maybe their match against Big Bill and Ricky Starks.
Okay. All right.
Good story.
Yeah, they did a couple promos for it, for sure. We are going to talk some AEW today. Obviously, now the show drops on Wednesdays for us at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're on Patreon, you're going to get it early on Tuesday. So this would be before the next AEW show. So if you're watching this as it actually will upload, AEW's already followed up with what they did last week on Dynamite. But there's been a lot of shit going on that I want to talk about, particularly with the Tony Khan angle, obviously.
Yeah.
But one more thing I want to talk to you about. My
Yes.
girlfriend brought this up to me, and it got me thinking. We're going to also talk about the WWE draft, too, by the way, today. We got some questions from people on Patreon, and if we have time, some people on social media. But Patreon people get first dibs over there in our group chat. My girlfriend asked me as we were watching some wrestling
Oh, you're
last week.
dating again. How's that going for
Been
you?
dating for about 15 months with Hannah, yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. If you had to pick, she asked me one, but then I made it, can I pick three? And she said yes. If you had to pick three people from AEW that you think would benefit from being in WWE,
This is a hot topic. I love this. Let's do this.
who
Right
do
here,
you
right
think
now.
the three would be? Because I named three initially, and as I've been thinking about it,
You could change it.
for a few days, I was like, oops, I forgot about him because
Yeah.
he's never on TV, which is...
Ricky Starks.
Dude, that was the one I forgot about.
Oh, okay.
That was my
because
pick.
he hasn't been on TV.
Yes, and I was
Yeah.
and as soon as someone brought him up recently, like in the last few days, I was like, oh yeah, wait, that's my number one pick actually because I love Ricky. I think he's a genuine person. I thought he was an incredible promo back when he was in the NWA. I think he's a great worker, and yeah, I just think he could benefit from being in WWE. But I think my three picks.
Hold on, because I just changed my three while you were talking. there.
Okay.
I mean, that's how rapid it could go because I could see there's a case for a lot of people. Go ahead with your first.
So the three
your
picks
first
that I
draft
said
choice.
initially was Wardlow.
Okay.
I think he would do much better in WWE.
Yeah.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Uh-huh.
So when I picked them as the first two, my mindset was like, not only do they have potential, particularly Powerhouse Hobbs, I feel like, but they look the mold of a WWE star, you know. And my number three pick, because I picked, I wanted to pick a girl, you know, I wanted a girl involved. I think Statlander would be great in AEW, and again, right now she's really not doing much.
Well,
other
she'll
than
be
hanging out.
revealed, right, as the
I think
mystery
so.
somebody that attacks somebody.
Yeah, I
and
think
did
so.
some things.
But I think she would she would really benefit from WWE. What about you? Three picks.
All right. I had Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Chris Statlander.
Okay. So
I had
literally the same three people.
I had the same as you, but that's after I changed one of them because Brian Cage was one of mine. And then when you said a girl, then I was like, okay, I'll pick Statlander. And then, yeah, so that's how
I also like Brian.
I wish Brian Cage was there. Sorry. This is the one I changed initially when you first brought it up. I want Hook there in WWE. I think you put some size on him and get him in that mold. I don't know. Also,
you know who my girlfriend picked? Which
Jungle Boy.
Which no, I was surprised at first, but then I was like, you know what? No. And I said I could see him more in NXT, and he would need not that he needs more ring work time, but I think he would need to really establish his star power. Lee Moriarty is who she picked for WWE, you know, and because Lee is like a really, really, really good wrestler, and I think in NXT he would really thrive, and then I think he would get the momentum there to then put him up on the main roster.
Oh man, I mean, you could go with a lot of people, man. I want that dinosaur guy too.
The dinosaur
the one that
guy.
you don't like.
I don't have a problem with the dinosaur.
Yeah,
You're talking about Kill Switch?
Yeah. You say he tried to fuck you up in a match one time or something?
He didn't try
Took
to
liberties.
That's not no. He did have an idea.
Tried to eat you.
No, he had an idea that was not great.
Okay.
In a match that we had.
But he was still young and learning then, so I gotta forgive him. No, he's an old man.
He's like my age. I mean, he's not.
Shit.
He's been wrestling
He's got about a year left then.
Okay. The idea, I think I might have mentioned this on a show before or a bonus, but it was a 4-way tag. It was me and Zach Gowen versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Pepper Parks and Andy Williams before they were the Butcher and the Blade. And I feel bad because I can't remember. He was a local LA kid who was teaming with Eli Drake, who's now LA Knight.
Yeah.
And the idea that Luchasaurus pitched was, so I do like this kick.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I line
yeah.
up everybody and I kick them. And I've never done a kick where I've kicked 6 guys straight across. So like again, so you line up the guys essentially. And has he done this in AEW?
He's kicked a couple guys.
Okay, so like he basically,
I know what you're talking
like
about.
if you like he just lines up the kid and the kicks and he takes his foot and just goes right across with everybody, just across the face. So he's like I've never lined up 6 people and kicked them straight across. And I remember me and Pepper Parks looking at each other, like, well, that doesn't make sense. And then Pepper immediately spoke up. He's like, yeah, but like we're all like different heights, so you'd have to kick like across and kind of come up and down. And we lined up, and he's like trying to like mimic what he's gonna do. And he's like, I think I could do it. And it got to the point where we were just like, this is not happening, and we did not do it. So no, we had a fine time. It just was like he just pitched a really poor idea. I think he said that his record was 4. Four
dudes.
people that he kicked
4
across the face. He wanted to make it 6. I don't know if he's hit that record yet, but more power to him. Luchasaurus, now Kill Switch.
What's up with everybody in AEW wants to be somebody's dad?
That's
Jericho wants to be the new dad of Hook and of Big Time Billy. Wait.
He said mentor. He
Who's
didn't
Bill?
say dad.
No, he said. Oh, did he? Okay. He said your dad wasn't a good dad. I'll be there for you.
Did he say that?
Yeah. Right in front of Taz the first time, and then later on he said it again some other time. So
Maybe a lot of people in AEW have daddy issues. I don't
it's
know.
what it seems like. And then we saw Shad Khan, come to the ring and stick up for his son.
Yeah. for
Start
like
throwing
4
haymakers.
That didn't happen.
Well, they went off the air.
Well, I would say Shad
My
Khan
DVR.
is more intimidating, and it did bring an element of realism. But there's a lot of layers that I need to talk about with this angle and the follow through with Tony Khan having the neck brace on the NFL draft. And like I said, I want to talk about the actual WWE draft.
What a mark, bro.
We are talking about night 1 of the draft from Friday. However, in the extended version of this podcast, we can talk about. Hey, shut up for a second. I'm plugging here.
Oh.
In the extended version of this podcast, we'll be recording probably as we're watching night 2 of the draft. We will be talking about Raw and what they do on this draft, and hopefully, I don't know how to speak for you, but hopefully it's more exciting than what they did on SmackDown, because I think this draft thing needs to be restructured and retooled, and we will talk about that and all the AEW goodness and some of your questions, like I said, after this commercial break. Do you want to go on a commercial break?
I would love to.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I could see myself right now going on a commercial break.
Okay.
It's me on a cloud.
Oh.
What?
Seems like you don't have to do that to go in the commercial break. I could just hit
Oh no, I'd be
pause.
on a cloud, and and there's a second cloud, and I'm watching TV, and at that very moment, it's different strokes I'm watching, and it's a very special episode.
Is it the episode where the guy's gonna diddle everybody?
He said, let's go back to my house. I'll take pictures of you and your friend. Here.
Yeah, that was the episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
that was
it's
it.
a very weird episode.
It was a very special episode.
Yeah. Boy.
Little Arnold lost his flower that night.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm on a cloud looking for Arnold's flower.
Yeah.
And they go to commercial break.
But then you find the flower
Yeah.
after Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs draws the flower.
Yeah, if I were a flower,
Uh-huh.
what flower would I be? And I'll answer for you, and then we'll plug Juan. We're gonna plug Juan.
I don't know many flowers, so I'll just go with whatever, because you have fresh highlights, which I haven't seen someone do with spiked hair on a regular basis since the late '90s.
Yeah,
looks like you should be on.
No, because you saw Zach Gowen do it 2 years ago.
No, he didn't do straight highlights. He literally basically just dyed his
mine's
hair
not,
blonde.
mine was a whole head, but it's already grown.
He tried to look like he literally went to his barber and took a picture of Zachary Ty Bryan from Home Improvement and said, "This is what I want my hair to look like." And like that's a definite choice that you could make.
I love that choice.
But you look like you should be on like a reality show like Passion Island or something.
I'm ready. So give me a flower.
I think you would be the flower that Mario finds when he hits the block and gives you the firepower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fire
Whatever flower that is. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the name. The fire flower.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
What flower am I?
Oh. Which one smells the worst? Which one's wilted?
Okay.
Which one's dead? Okay. You're a rose.
Oh.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah.
So Juan could just design any flower you want. In
Lilac.
fact, he's probably did some flowers for done some flowers. For,
I don't like when people say "did" anymore. It sounds like Diddy and diddling.
He probably did a Diddy photo before.
Hey,
we won't.
You did one with 50 Cent, and
Who always
he looks like the baby face now.
But 50 Cent always disrespect Diddy, okay? Yeah. He was always right about him all along. And you could be right along and right all along with Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs and getting a fresh design for yourself, a loved one, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever you got going on in your life. Reach out to Juan, and if you mention Iron on Wrestling and follow his Instagram at Of the Dead Designs, you'll save $10 on your first design. Just like, you got to be like the most prolific individuals in all of professional wrestling. Juan has worked with them all. All the current champions in every major promotion, he's done artwork for them. I'm not just saying that. I'm not exaggerating.
Spitting
it's
facts.
All true. It's all true. And you're going to want something from him right away. Go to @ofthedeaddesigns over on Instagram to hit him up, or go to his website, ofthedead.weebly.com. You can also send him a message over at Facebook, facebook.com/ofthedeaddesign. And if you do that, you're going to want to, just tell him, hey, I'm hitting you up because I want to do like your slogan. I want to bring my artwork to life.
Much like a flower.
Much like a flower. Yes. Aaron, how's your health?
Best it's ever been.
Really?
Blood pressure, 121/72.
Wow, that's pretty close to perfect.
Wow, that's the first time you've ever called me close to perfect.
Well.
Hey, everything's bigger now, too. My muscles,
What?
way bigger. My hair has grown more.
Mm-hmm.
My wiener, it's got to be an extra inch or two.
I mean, listen.
Or it's because I'm not as fat that I can see it now.
That's probably it, yes.
Okay, well, either way, I mean, win-win, right?
I would say so. Look, there's a bunch of supplements that have changed your life, and mine as well. They've helped me on my fitness journey over at tnt-health.com. And Mike, that runs TNT Health, he's a great friend of the show, great friend in general, and he could be your great friend too, because not only does he sell supplements over on the website, actually, Mike would even like if I said sell supplements, because you can give him money for supplements, but what he really sells is results, because at tnt-health.com, that's what they want from you. They don't want you to have a bill for health and wellness supplies every month for like $300, $400, $500. They want you to look at the website, check out a couple things that you might be interested in, get you on the right path with those things so that you're using them properly on a regular basis. And, down the line, if there's something else maybe you want to invest in, add on top of that, then that's something you could do. But at the end of the day, Mike wants to keep track of your progress. He wants to make sure that you're, hitting your goals. But, you don't have to be 100%, because what did I say? You're close to perfect.
Yeah.
Okay? But you're not 100%. No one is.
Yeah, I was thinking about giving 70%.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried. And this past week, it was a little rough for me. I had some things going on.
Oh, no.
So I couldn't give quite 70% even.
What was it,
and Mike
68?
was okay with it. No, not 68%.
Lower?
That's embarrassing. No, I would never go that low.
Okay.
Just a little bit above that.
So what's between 68 and 70?
And then carry the 2.
I'm going to take out a calculator and figure this out. But
Yeah.
while I do that, Tell me some of the supplements you've been using from TNT-health.com.
The YK11 has been wonderful for me, but I do want to tell you that what started.
69. Okay, I did
You
the
got
math.
a calculator on your
Christ.
phone.
Okay, anyway.
How come you don't have minutes on that phone yet?
Shut up.
So, yeah, the YK11 is what I'm currently on, but really what got me to where I am now was the Ostarine. That's a bad mamma jammer right there. Tones you up,
Okay.
slims you down, gets some muscles right.
Ooh.
And that's a summertime look right there.
Okay.
See, I'm doing a YK11 right now, which is making me a little bit bigger
Yes.
in the arms and the ween.
Gotcha. Well, not related to TNT Health, but I've been doing KY 4
Yes.
with my girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
she
You put
re-
it in there, huh?
Yes.
Okay. And then what happens?
I shouldn't go into any more detail. She
Okay,
probably wouldn't even
okay.
like me saying that first part, but
Well, I mean, how else are you going to get it in there? Right? You've been taking these supplements. Your dong's got to be the biggest it's ever been. Oh.
you know,
You spit on the ass of people.
why did you go? Terrible, Carlito. That was the worst possible Carlito impression I have
Because I didn't
ever
know I
heard
was getting into it.
in my. No, do that impression again. Say exactly what you
had
said.
to spit the apple, though.
Yeah. I can't do it without laughing. Oh no! All right.
I spit on the ass of people who don't like to get fucked.
Okay,
raw.
so you've been using the supplements. I've been using the pre-workout with the Vroom. So one serving of Vroom has like 370 grams of caffeine, and so
Yo.
I take about half of that because it's like I don't need that much personally, but if you
don't
want
know.
a lot of pep in your step, the
Yeah.
Vroom can work for you. And I've also been using the creatine for pre-workout stuff as far as, trying to get better gains in the gym, but also the glutamine for recovery after I work out. And of course, their organic vanilla protein, which I can mix with water. No problem. It's literally the only protein that I've ever used with water that doesn't taste like actual shit.
Hey,
So,
also, congratulations on just starting to use water with your powders.
yeah, you don't want to just eat that bad boy raw.
I mean, that's a thing that people are doing right now. It's
Yeah.
all over TikToks and stuff.
Yeah, and that was the thing Chris Benoit did, and you look what happened to him.
Oh. Well, you know what? I love this stuff so much that I'm okay with whatever happens.
Okay, well, go to TNT-health.com, use promo code IRONON, IRONON, and you will save 10% on anything you order, anything and everything. So check it out. It's free to look, but, better that you invest in your health and wellness and with a guy that will help you every step of the way like Mike. Don't be shy.
Hey,
Reach
if
out,
my
'cause
fat
he'll
ass
reach
can
out.
turn it around, you know what I'm saying? I was big. And then, now, I'm ridiculously good looking.
You are.
So
You're
even if you think I have frosted tips, that's just because my hair grows so much faster because of the YK11.
I got you. Of all the
You could
people-
use some.
Shut up. Okay, of all the people I've seen, you are definitely one of them. So,
Thank you.
TNT-health.com. Check it out because at TNT Health, it's about your health today, not tomorrow. So, now that the plugs are out of the way, all right. I didn't watch Dynamite.
No.
What was I doing on Wednesday that I didn't watch Dynamite? I was doing
Anything
something.
else?
Yeah. Well, I don't.
It's hard for me to tune in.
Here's the thing. Like sometimes, like I don't mind watching the show if they got like a couple things I'm interested in. But like past few months, it's like literally, and I don't want to be a dick because again, I got friends in the program. But like sometimes Hannah will want to watch the show, and I've literally been like, can we just maybe watch
Snuggle?
clips like on YouTube or something, watch a documentary or something? Because like there
Can
have
we
been
watch
times
a Bella Twins show on A&E. Is that stuff?
like
Anything else?
literally like after a 2-hour show, half the time I just feel like I didn't need to watch that show.
Yeah.
I'm not emotionally invested.
Nope, not at all.
But when I got home, I'm sorry, I remember what I was doing. I did a seminar at the Mega School. So
yeah.
I spent like 3 hours there. Really good with the exception of one individual that I'm not going to get into. But the kids were willing to learn, very respectful, and we had a good time. And you know what? It's literally the first seminar that I've done where sometimes I do a little physical stuff, but mine's more talking than anything else. Just like, what do you want to learn? Like, or what do you think you're struggling with right now in the learning process? Didn't do one move. And I think it was the best seminar we ever did. Not because I didn't do anything physical, but because, like, for 3.5 hours, like, just the passion from the kids. Like,
Would you say they all got to sit under the learning tree?
Yes, but I would never nickname myself that because it's a terrible nickname. But I just want to give it a shout out to Mega Wrestling and Brandon X, who literally I told him, and I'll say it on this podcast, it's refreshing that there's someone that's so passionate and so caring about the future of not just wrestlers in general, but particularly because this is where we came from, Northeast Ohio. You know what I mean? Like, we need someone that, like, is going to get these kids back to their basics, and he's always bringing in guys for seminars, and he's bettering their weekly program, which is available on Facebook. If you've never watched it, if you want to watch something else wrestling related on a Thursday at 8 p.m. live, check out Mega Wrestling's Facebook page or on their YouTube, and it's worth your time. And I actually
I'm wearing a Mega shirt right now.
There you go. See, I impromptu participated on their show on Thursday, and it was again, with the exception of one individual, it was a honor and a pleasure. And again,
was it Basket Case?
No, it was
He's not there.
He was not there. But that's what I was doing on Wednesday. So when I got home, you can imagine how excited I was when I saw that finally, it was inevitable, Tony Khan got physical. Now, when we talked about the podcast that was deleted, but actually I sort of elaborate on it by myself before it was uploaded last week, we talked about the only way to save this angle with Jack Perry was to potentially try to do something with Tony Khan. However, it isn't just the angle itself. It's how you follow up that angle that's important. And there was a big opportunity this week with Tony Khan being involved with the NFL draft. So let's start from the beginning, the angle itself.
Can I do this real quick?
Sure.
You don't even know what I'm saying. Thank you. I tuned in because I was excited to see the reaction that Swerve Strickland got when he came out to open up the program.
We should talk about that because that was a big
as the world champion.
Yes.
And I was waiting to hear from him. And then I think there was like a backstage brawl or something happened. And then Swerve came out and wrestled a number one contender match or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I guess maybe his first promo was then on Saturday on Collision.
Yes, so they decided to do a plug for his big celebration on Saturday.
But I didn't know that. And I probably would have watched Saturday because I like Swerve.
Yeah.
I like his character. I like his promos. I just think he's a good dude all around. I've heard wonderful things, and it was exciting with someone fresh and new.
He's definitely raised his stock for when he goes back to WWE.
Yes. Oh, another guy we'd love to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so, yeah, it wasn't there. That was not on. So I tuned in, and then I tuned out right away. Well, I didn't watch those other guys fighting. They used to be friends.
So
boyfriends?
I read best friends.
Oh, that's my bad.
I read some recaps of how the show was formatted, and I can't believe that they didn't even start the show with the Swerve match. Like Swerve wrestled.
And then I could see if like their justification was, well, we knew people wanted to see it, so we made them wait till the second hour.
Yeah.
But or segment 2 or however that. But I didn't know any of that.
From what I understand, during the Swerve match, they didn't even plug that his celebration was going to be on Saturday. You would think he's on his way to the ring.
Because I could have dealt with that and go, okay, well, you know what, Saturday I'm going to tune in.
Yes, they didn't even do that.
And I didn't watch it. And I guess he did a promo, and maybe they only want people to like check out their YouTube channel.
I don't know what they're doing, man.
Because all I hear about is TV rights deals.
Yeah.
And then all I see is them doing things that could pop their YouTube numbers.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. Is YouTube TV back out?
No.
Is Cobra Kai coming out?
But also, when it comes to YouTube, we don't even know the reason why the thing that kind of sort of popped them a rating 2 weeks ago, and the thing that they're doing an angle from, the Jungle Jack Perry CM Punk altercation, they edited that out of the Young Bucks segment
Right.
for their YouTube. Why? I don't understand. The formatting of the show is weird. I heard the audio was off.
Yes,
for, like,
I couldn't
literally
hear
the whole
anything.
show.
I've heard, in all fairness, I heard people in other coasts say that theirs was fine.
Yes.
But mine wasn't. I couldn't hear the professor, Serena Deeb. I could not hear anything she said, and it was shot so cool. It was so different. She came out during a match or something and sat down and cut a promo on the steps or something.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I liked the way they zoomed up. I didn't hear shit.
Some people were shitting on the way they set up Daly's place. I don't mind it.
No, I like it.
Cool.
I think they should be there every week.
So here's my thing. So you didn't hype the Swerve thing for Saturday at the top of the hour. Okay. You had by all accounts, and I watched it, a great pay-per-view, with that being AEW Dynasty, okay? On your A show, to start the show, you don't hype a Swerve celebration, and you know your main event segment is going to involve, for the first time, Tony Khan getting physical. They don't hype that until hour 2, apparently, or the start of the second hour, okay? And so we get to the main event segment. It's about 8 to 10 minutes long. Jack Perry is going to confront Tony Khan, okay? Jack Perry comes out, talks about how he calls Tony Khan to the ring, talks about how AEW was meant to change the world, how, that's all he's ever wanted was the best for AEW, so reinstate me and let's change the world again. Tony Khan is like, okay. He's like clapping, he's like giving thumbs up, right?
So
he shakes
he's
Jungle Jack
the dumbest
Perry's hand.
idiot ever.
So we'll dissect this in a second. So Jack Perry raises his hand. It's obvious that it's coming, okay? It's obvious that there's going to be a turn. And it looks as awkward as, do you remember when Bret Hart came back to WWE in 2010 and Vince at the end of the show is like, oh, thank you, Bret, and like shakes his hand, and like they raise hands, and Bret's like very stiff, but it's like, okay, it's going to happen, and then Vince kicks him in the nuts.
Yep.
And, there it is. So they do a whole 360 so the whole crowd could see him. And then Jack Perry delivers. Oh, I want to put one thing over. Jack Perry's facial as he's hugging Tony. There's money in that.
Yep.
That was the best moment of this.
Because that was the same face as when he returned.
Even better, though. Yeah. I think even
better.
Like
very, now he's got it.
Very maniacal, okay? So it's the gut punch heard around the world.
Yeah.
So, Tony, this must have been his first pretend gut punch. I don't think he's ever taken a real gut punch, because usually, you've been punched in the stomach, for real.
Yeah.
You usually crumple down. You don't usually just like propel backwards and then fall on your back when you get punched in the stomach with your hands straight back.
I saw a lot of criticism about that. I didn't even give a shit about that because I watched Vince McMahon take the worst stunner of all time.
Listen, I understand that.
Yeah.
But my first instinct was to laugh, okay? Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I was going to follow up with the Vince thing. Fine. Still ridiculous. And you had all day to maybe try to practice that. Okay?
Because it looked like he learned how to take a back bump. It almost looked like somebody said, okay, take a back bump off this.
Yeah. It would have been easier if they just said, you don't even have to bump, Tony. You just crumple forward.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was like, he was like, you know what? I learned how to bump, and one of the Bucks said that I take a good bump. I'll back bump this. Yeah. I'll show all the boys.
Oh, boy.
That's exactly what I thought was going on.
So then the Bucks come out with Okada, and the Bucks start to help him up, and then they tease like they're going to do the
I love that.
EVP trigger, and then Okada's like, no. And then they change their mind, and they do the Meltzer driver. I don't know if you noticed. I didn't notice until Hannah pointed it out. She started cracking up laughing, and I thought she was laughing at the execution of the pile driver where, Tony Khan's head was, a foot from the ground, like
much like Undertaker
and Hogan at Survivor Series 91. No, Nick's pants split in the back as soon as he did the flip and landed,
Yeah.
and she kept asking me to rewind it like a small child,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
good.
laughing hysterically. So one of their worst Meltzer drivers, like not terrible, but like not one of their best double pile drivers. Tony Khan's laid out in the ring. They go to the back. Some of the lower tier members of the roster come to the ring. I wish it would have happened sooner before they went off air. And of course, is the one time that AEW apparently didn't have an overrun. Chad Khan. What is it?
Nope.
No.
Shad.
Khan.
Yeah,
Shad
Shad
Khan.
Khan.
Comes into the ring and looks very fucking pissed and serious. And
I thought he was Big Bully Busick.
okay, well, he's since passed on a while
Shad
back.
Khan passed on after?
No, Big Bully Busick.
He's dead too?
He's been dead for a while, like 10 years, I think, actually. Good guy from everything I've ever
They
heard.
say only the good die young.
So yeah, he was on camera for like 4 or 5 seconds, and then they went off. Let's break this down. At Dynasty, Jack Perry came from the crowd, interrupted the tag team title match, pushes over the ladder, helps the Bucks win the tag team championships. Now, we haven't established how the Bucks, who are EVPs, have been getting along with Tony Khan and the decision making. Perhaps maybe we'll get clarity on that.
We saw
Wednesday
them
show.
maybe once or twice in like the gorilla position together.
Yes.
Didn't look like there was problems though.
Okay.
At least if there was, I couldn't tell.
Yeah. So now, if you're Tony Khan, clearly you've kept Jack Perry off TV for like 8 months because you've been upset with him over this scuffle. Maybe you could. I feel like it's a little much calling it a scuffle, but that's what we'll go with between Punk and Jack Perry, where Jack Perry really didn't do anything other than get put in a front face lock and pushed. He didn't do anything physical. He did instigate the incident, of course, by what he said on camera.
Yeah.
I would say, and I don't know where I saw it, but I think I watched something on YouTube where what do you call him? A physical language expert. What do you call him?
Yeah.
Like analyzed like Jack Perry's movements in the video and stuff, and it
Okay.
almost said like it almost seemed like he was egging on Punk with the
Okay.
way he was like reacting to everything that Punk was saying, and Punk was like very upset
Yeah.
and like he was just brushing it off like it was nothing. Even like the way he ran his hands through his hair, it was just like whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know that for
So
a fact.
probably something disrespectful is how Punk felt, and so that may have been an instigating factor.
And so anyway, so that's the footage we see that gets Jack Perry suspended for like 8 months and makes him a scapegoat. Tony Khan agrees to meet Jack Perry in the ring. And as soon as Jack Perry starts putting over AEW, just Tony's all smiles, he's clapping, for everything he said. Not angry about the tag title situation, not angry at Jack. Like, we get no talking from Tony. Like, why? There should have been like a discussion of like, yo, why did you take me off television for 8 months?
It would have been
like,
such good TV.
and here's the thing. Honestly, I don't know if really Jack is the bad guy in this scenario, and he hasn't been getting booed really.
Every time you say Jack, all I think of is Eric's dog.
I don't know Eric's dog. I'm sorry. Eric Ryan?
No.
Eric. Eric. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know Jack personally, so I'm sorry.
No, I don't know him either. I see his pictures all over there.
You don't think of the movie Jack, featuring Robin Williams from the 90s, where he played a
saw
grown
it.
man who was a child?
Never saw it.
Okay. Missing out.
What's
Good
his
movie.
last name? Mehoff?
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, Tony Khan just like looks like kind of buffoon once he like agrees to shake Jack Perry's hand. There's like no anger. I would think if you kept a guy off TV for 8 months, you'd be a little upset. Maybe have something to say. Your
Well,
thoughts?
why would you just think he was okay with everything?
What do you mean?
Why would you think Jack Perry was okay with everything and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
wants
yeah,
to run
yeah, yeah,
with you
yeah,
and run
right.
AEW to the top again or whatever
Right.
they said, change the world?
Yes.
Really? Because you've been rolling with these guys. You pulled up in the SUV right behind them, walked through the back together, already won them the championships.
Yes.
And then you get in the ring and go, yeah, let's do this.
So the segment happens. Anything else you want to pick apart from the
I'm
segment?
just saying that what could have happened if they did like a summit and promoted it as such for like a week or two. Like Jack Perry's going to be in the ring with Tony Khan.
Yeah.
The EVPs will be there to make sure nothing gets out of hand.
I like that he came out with no music.
Yeah.
That made it feel realer.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Anyways, continue.
And then they could have just went back and forth. Tony, I was off TV for 8 months. I don't feel that was justified. I need you to bring me some closure with this. And then Tony could have said, here's the reasons why I felt. And whether they were shoot or work or whatever, make something up. And then Jack goes, look, as much as it sucked being off 8 months, I now see your point. Okay? And I'm willing to accept responsibility. And I will issue this apology to you and to the AEW fans. I'm sorry. I just want to get back to work. I love professional wrestling and specifically all elite wrestling. Tony, please make me all elite again.
Much better.
And Tony goes, you know what? Yes, we had problems. Yes, maybe it's a little bit my fault too. You know, maybe I shouldn't have kept you off that long. I hope you didn't mind getting paid the whole time. And I brokered that New Japan contract for you. But that's all cool. And then they shake hands. And then you could have done that fucking deal.
Yes.
And then he could have taken the back bump.
So Tony takes the Meltzer driver. I saw footage from a fan cam. Apparently after this, I thought well, he's wearing the neck brace for the draft and stuff. Surely he got stretchered out. No, he was just walked to the back.
That's my number one pet peeve. Anytime a guy's injured, why are we picking them up and walking them? That's the first clue that there's nothing wrong. Yeah. You would never get a guy up who just maybe had a neck broken.
Yeah.
Or a stinger or anything.
Yep.
Unless it's Stone Cold Steve Austin who's yelling at you to pick him up and hold up the belt.
Yeah.
Because broken neck or not, I ain't fucking with Stone Cold.
So apparently, I can't wait to see the documentary that they were filming on Tony Khan because ESPN was following him around doing a documentary. Perhaps maybe that was why Tony wanted to do this angle. And perhaps maybe he wanted to get some buzz around the angle because it was directly coinciding with the NFL draft, which there's a lot of eyes on.
Yep.
I sent you the screen cap that I saw online.
Yeah.
Tony Khan and neck bracing.
Your response. Like, oh, this is happening.
Your response was yes.
Yeah.
Like you were very happy, right?
Because he kind of looks like a clown doing that. But at the same time, I respect it.
Here's the thing, though. Did you see any of, the footage of Tony in the neck brace?
Very little. I don't even know if I heard sound or anything.
He was, turning his head from side to side while wearing a neck brace. And, I don't know if he's ever
You remember
seen
my
anybody.
gimmick used to be in a neck brace?
Yes.
In PWO?
Yes.
Yeah.
But, this is supposed to be a serious thing. If he was, pretending that he was hurt and was a heel, then perhaps maybe it would have been well, this guy's fine. He's turning his
Roderick
head.
Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be in a wheelchair.
But,
But he's the owner of the company.
Yeah. And also, he's wearing, the white fake neck brace, right? Not like an actual neck brace that the hospital would give you.
Look, and when I went for the neck brace for that whole gimmick, my doctor, when I tried to get one from the doctor, he goes, we don't even really do that anymore. You don't want your neck to be stiff like that all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so that's not even really a thing with the neck brace.
Yeah.
The general public doesn't know that, I'm sure, because not many people have gone in for neck injuries.
So I can't imagine someone who doesn't watch wrestling seeing this and I got to imagine they think Tony looks like a clown, right? Oh, he's selling this fake wrestling angle. But even worse is him making an appearance on one of the NFL shows, one of the NFL network shows during the draft. And from what I understand, he only gets on this because of the angle. He's got the neck brace on. And now, you would think that this is the opportunity.
Yeah.
I watched the interview. This is the opportunity to really sell this angle, what's in store, blah, blah, blah. Which, by the way, I don't know. Do you think the Bucks and Jack Perry and Okada get fired tonight? Because realistically, that would make sense, because you fired your biggest star, CM Punk, for a push and a front face lock. So I gotta imagine.
No. I think Punk got fired because he tried to kill Tony Khan.
Oh yeah, he did make him in fear for his life. So I
right.
can't
So
imagine.
he lunged at him, and that was that. But this one is a guy jumps off the top rope in a moon flip and Spike Pile.
Moon flip.
Fucking, I don't remember what it's called. What are they at 450? Is that what he does?
Just like a.
It's not a moonsault.
No, it's not a moon flip for sure.
Maybe a somersault.
So this is your opportunity to just talk about how serious this angle is. The guy who keeps talking about tribalism, the guy who, I don't know how many more weeks ago it was now, but before he decides to air this Jack Perry and CM Punk footage the week prior, he has Edge come out with a rah-rah speech to open the show.
You mean the Cope?
The Cope. I'm sorry. Rah-rah speech. This is the quote that he says before he's cut off by the hosts that kind of start awkwardly giggling at him. AEW, we've been doing this for 5 years now. We are the most successful sports startup since the AFL pre-merger. There has not been a challenger brand that has gained as much market share as AEW in many, many years. We are like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. We're up against a really evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing. AEW is like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE is like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. I'm really proud of what we do down here. And then they cut him off and they go, oh, okay, Tony, how long is the recovery time? And then the interview continues and blah, blah, blah. Okay. First of all, I know me personally. When I compare two things, I compare two completely different things. Like, for example, you and I, Aaron. I am like Sheets, and comparable to that, you would be like fucking. I don't know, O.J. Simpson. You know what I mean? I'm the Sheets of podcasting. You're the O.J. Simpson. That's
Sheets is in the gas station?
The gas station, yes.
Man,
yes.
I thought you were going with a different angle there.
No? What
God.
Angle?
I just thought you were going with some racial shit.
What? Why would I do that?
Sheets, and you're the black guy.
No! What the fuck are you doing right now? No. Jesus.
All right.
Yeah, I'm the Sheets, the gas station. So instead of comparing you to Wawa, I just pick O.J. Simpson. Because I want to compare the gas station to a fucking murderer. So obviously the Vince McMahon stuff is out there, right? And so why pick Pepsi and Harvey Weinstein as the comparison?
It's a hilarious bit if they go, oh, so Tony, you guys are like the Pepsi, huh? The startup brand. And so WWE is like, and as they're getting ready to say Coke, he would say Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
And then that's funny to me.
Yeah.
But he said it, and it becomes weird and creepy. It's not a one-liner. I was trying to get a dig on somebody.
Yeah.
After I've been digging on them for the past few. It's not cool.
Which I can't even remember the interview. Like a couple weeks ago, someone asked him if he would be interested in working with WWE.
Oh.
And he said, that's a very interesting question. It depends on the situation. So
we
let me
have
get
a
this
forbidden door.
So they're the evil juggernaut that's like Harvey Weinstein. But, if the opportunity presented itself, sure, right? Under the right circumstances, why not? Yeah. I don't know why. So instead of pushing this angle, he had to get that line in. Yeah. Why? What are we doing here?
And then how do you... Okay, so you're Tony Khan. You're in the neck brace. It's the NFL. It's the draft. It's a big deal. They ask you, Greg... You took a Spike Pile driver from two bad guy wrestlers.
Yeah.
You're in a neck brace. What's the status? What's going on? So do you play around like, well, it's wrestling, Or do you go, or are you going, oh, I can't move.
Well, I don't know.
Are you overselling it?
If I went so far as to wear a neck brace, I guess I'm going to try to sell it, and I'm not going to really be focusing on like shitting on another company.
I think my approach is then I would go, look, yes, it's wrestling, and things do happen. Like, I wasn't expecting that this move would hurt this bad.
Yeah.
But here I am, and this is the best I got right now.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. He was just weird, and then he was vindictive, and yikes. He's just, everything he does is bad. Maybe he just needs some time off TV.
How do you save this angle?
I don't know. It's not dead.
I don't. I'm not saying it's dead, but
Yeah.
like it's on the verge of not making sense because you know what died real quick? The Adam Cole Undisputed Kingdom thing.
Yes.
Who gives a shit about that?
And then he comes out and he gets out of a wheelchair, like a babyface would.
Yeah.
And not even a heel, like he's in the wheelchair, and then he gets up and cheats for, his homeboy to win the title or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not even like that. And
Max is not going to be back anytime soon. We just got word that he tried to avoid surgery.
Oh, there's a guy I'd like to see in WWE instead of...
He tried to avoid surgery by doing rehab on his labrum. That's not happening, so now
Most people can't avoid surgery with just rehab. Only there's a small percentage of people out there. It's me and maybe one or other guy.
I didn't have to get surgery on my labrum.
Well, I'm talking about a real injury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, labrum. So, did he do that on the flying elbow off the top onto the floor? Or is it just accumulation?
I think he probably added to it for sure.
Yeah. You know what? And honest to God, he may look at it one way, but him not coming back to AEW for another year or whatever it would be is probably the best thing.
One of the things one of the questions we got on social media involved this angle was Tony, and the question from Steve McGinnis is, to make a, quote, turn on the boss, end quote, moment effective, the boss has to be a hated heel or much loved face. Tony is just kind of there. Nobody in the fan base has a strong opinion on him. Based on that, what the hell was the point of attacking him on screen, especially after him stating he'd never be a character because he wanted the wrestling to speak for itself? In his opinion, this being Steve, it doesn't help the Bucks. It doesn't help Jack, who already had the CM Punk rub, and Okada just stood there looking as useful as a chocolate teapot. The whole thing doesn't help anyone and is worsened by Tony going full Herb Abrams this week in the press and no selling the neck brace at the NFL draft. Again, like I kind of mentioned, Jack Perry and the Bucks, I don't feel like are really the bad guys in this situation, especially like if you're in the know, and hopefully this gets explained on TV, unlike, the Mercedes situation with Willow, where she got injured in New Japan, but they haven't really come out and stated that. Tony, in my opinion, is the bad guy, but I don't think you can make Tony a believable bad guy unless he just didn't talk and was like some nervous weirdo who just had someone else do his dirty work while he just kind of stood there nervously and just barked his weird orders in his really excited voice that he does sometimes. So I don't know. I just feel like this is not going to.
You don't have any faith in it, and guess what? There's so much reason for you not to have faith in it because they fuck up a lot. They fuck around. They find out.
This easily could have been us doing a podcast on WWE 4 years ago, the way you're talking.
Yeah.
We had no faith in WWE for a long time, and they had to rebuild that. Opposite, AEW was brand new. We had so much faith because they hadn't fucked us yet.
Yeah.
Now the tables have turned.
Right.
So continue.
They were in the beginning, it was this kind of doesn't make sense, but whatever. They're the alternative. And then they became, we're the competition, and we're better than WWE. And
yes.
And then it's well, you're not showing it because they're just fucking lighting your ass up.
Mm-hmm. So what would you do if you're booking right now? What's the next move?
Okay. So give me do we flip Tony and make him the heel? But we just turned Jack Perry and the Young Bucks.
Well, here's the thing, though. How many heel stables do we have in AEW?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, because the Devil people You know who are those guys?
Undisputed Kingdom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not even devilish. Undisputed Kingdom. Kingdom of what? Hell and damnation?
You got the Undisputed Kingdom. You got Don Callis' faction. You got...
Yeah, because they're dark and evil too, like devils, because one wears a devil mask to the ring.
Yes.
And they have that painting of the Last Supper.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sacrilegious.
Yes.
And then, who's the other devils? Oh, the guys that spit the mist in people's faces. And the lights go out for them.
Yes.
And then they come back on. They're devilish.
Malachi Black and the House of
and
Black.
the Black Friends.
They're like half bad, half good, depending on the moment. That
Right.
would be the...
And that's kind of everybody.
No, Blackpool Combat Club, I was going to say.
Yeah, and they're black.
Is there one... They're not black.
Well, no, I mean...
They're...
And they're bad, and then sometimes they're good, though.
Is there one stable of good guys, actually, now that I think about it? Is
The
there
best friends.
They just broke up.
The boyfriends.
They just broke up.
The foreskin horsemen. They haven't arrived yet.
I don't think there's one stable of good guys, unless, like, Penta's trio.
Yeah, but they're in the moment. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's sometimes Penta's a heel.
Okay, so literally...
And then their
only-
manager's a heel. And then there's Swerve's family, the Moguls,
Yeah.
and they're the three Samoans or whatever those guys are,
Yeah.
along with Prince Nana. When he manages them, they're heels. But then when he's managing Swerve, he's babyface.
Yeah.
Oh, babyface faction. I got it. Willow, Chris Statlander, and the guy that talks for them, Malcolm Bivens.
That's not his name anymore, though. Stokely Halfway.
Stokely.
Yes.
Him.
Okay, so one stable with...
But no, he's a heel.
What?
Isn't Stokely a heel?
I don't know anymore.
Okay.
I don't think there's any baby faces. So there's
All right.
only bad guy stables in AEW.
Okay.
So I think, I mean, I got to imagine you'd have to turn the Young Bucks, Jack and Okada baby. I don't. I mean, they're not in the wrong though. Like when they cut their promo, like what are they gonna say? That's gonna be like, oh yeah, we hate you guys. Like yeah, you suspended Jack Perry for 8 months for fucking getting beat up.
And then
Yeah. Like what?
he beat up, or they all beat up Tony Khan, but nobody got suspended, or they could be Oh, and Kenny Omega returns on Wednesday, and I said, is he gonna be the new commissioner? Is he gonna be the new Tony
I think
Khan?
that's a good guess.
But also, are they just gonna injure him and take him out?
That's
Because we
also-
heard that he's gonna have erectile surgery
What?
or diverticulitis.
Yeah, that's different.
Surgery.
That's very much different.
Huh. He's great on his Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been hearing some things.
Man, he talked about some of this Rossi guy. Said he was,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hear he's
yeah,
not a
he
good
said,
guy.
he likes the good. He likes the young girls,
Yes.
not the young bucks.
Yeah, he talked a lot about the Punk situation and how he's been in good terms with Punk, and he doesn't think there's an issue between them, and how sometimes you got to fight it out, which I don't know if I really expected from Kenny Omega.
Yeah, but what did we know about Kenny Omega before? Really nothing. I didn't know anything
That's
about
also
him.
true.
I knew he was a great athlete.
But what's next in this angle,
Okay.
though? What do we do?
Kenny Omega returns,
Okay.
and that's how they get the heat. Because
Okay.
he's got to fill in. He's got to be the actual babyface commissioner type. Because he's going to be out while he's got. Everybody knows they've already said he's got diverticulitis. You know you got to get surgery for that. So don't take him out with an injury. Have him just be the on-camera authority babyface.
Who opposes the Elite, though?
He has to assemble a squad, and whether that's a Blackpool
What is happening on the show today?
Blackpool Combat Club.
The Black Boy Combat Club.
Well, actually, that'd work better because there's just as many from black people as Blackpool people in that faction.
All right. I got to imagine you would try to assemble some of the bigger baby faces in AEW as if this is the NWO situation, but like I don't think it's the same thing.
Christian and his Luchasaurus
They're
and that
also
boy.
bad guys. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're also bad guys. If someone out there knows of a babyface stable in AEW, please tell me what it is, because I don't know it. All heel stables.
Oh, Brian Cage is with Swerve's Moguls.
Isn't?
Oh yeah,
Aren't they all still
Okay.
kind of heels?
I guess maybe turn him babyface, but those guys aren't even over. But you would, and Swerve needs to be on his own. Maybe with Nana still. That's fine.
Yeah, I think Swerve is a baby face at this point. And Brian Cage was very happy for Swerve, and we didn't get to talk about it on the podcast because I deleted it, but he did send out a tweet that was very babyfacious. He was all about the LGBTQ community when he tweeted out, "Congrats at Swerve, fucking a man." But his tweet didn't translate to text because I think he tried to send out "fucking A man," like, "Hey, good job,
fucking A,
fucking A man," but he just tweeted "fucking a man."
Yeah.
So that was awkward.
Okay, so then what about Samoa Joe?
What about him?
You bring him back because people are cheering him anyway. So bring him back on the babyface side and have him get some of his boys. I don't want it to be the FTR because they've been buried so much, and then that means they got more to do with the Bucks. But I mean, they'd be the closest to an over babyface tag team, I think.
It's true.
You can't do nothing with that Cassidy dude. Orange Cassidy. He can't. You're not having him stand up to fight your frontline battle.
I can imagine Tony Khan putting it in that situation, though.
Yeah, you couldn't you? Yep.
Yeah.
I think you're right. What you would do the Cope, Samoa Joe, and then we need a tag team. Who's next in line for the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn?
Maybe. Well, Max Caster's suspended again for God knows how long for another rap.
And again, what are we doing that for? You know what I mean? Yeah, funny, nice pop or whatever, but do that shit in the back. Yeah. You're on a television show. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe it was pay-per-view, but you're still on something that's PG-ish.
Yeah.
They just got everybody to quit saying shit and fuck on the TV.
I don't know. What do you guys think should be done about this angle with the Elite and Tony Khan? Who's the baby faces? Who's the heel? Let us know in the comment section below.
We could have done Jay White and what's that, Bullet Club Gold and the Gun Children?
Oh, they were baby faces, but then they turned, and then so now they're back to being the Guns, and Jay White are back to being
But
heels.
if we would have had them be babyface with Samoa Joe or something like that, sweet.
Yeah, but it's almost like we weren't thinking like 4 weeks in advance, and we turned them back heel. Yeah. But let us know in the comments below, if there are any babyface stables in AEW that are already assembled that we didn't mention, but also what would you do to fix this angle? Comment below on YouTube. Comment on the Patreon. We want some interaction there. Let us know in the comments below on social media. That would be greatly appreciated. And
Jericho steps up as the veteran leader against the Young Bucks and Okada and Jungle Jim.
I don't think we should do that.
No.
Okay.
All
right. Let's talk about the WWE draft. Did you watch this on SmackDown?
Yes. I didn't need to, though.
Why not?
Well, because everybody's on the same brand.
So here's my thing. I don't know how you make this exciting. I mean, I could think of some ways to make it exciting, but it currently isn't exciting. As good as WWE has been, the WWE draft is still the most boring, unexciting part of the show. And they did change some rules this year for the draft, like you can't draft champions, which is great.
Yep, I like that.
Because it would make sense because you just changed all the belts and they all look the same for their specific brand. Eric Phillips, Eric from commented that it's not a draft if nobody moves brand, so he said the same thing that you said. And
I always knew that guy was smart.
He is a pretty smart guy. But it's like, here's my thing. I feel like we talked about this before because it feels similar to last year. In football, has the Cleveland Browns ever came out during the draft and said, like, Cleveland Browns, for their first draft pick, select someone that is already on their team? Wouldn't someone kind of be like...
select Myles Garrett.
Yeah, like what?
A 5-year veteran out of
What would the crowd be like? Well, that was a fucking stupid pick, right? Like,
yeah. So, what do you got a plan?
So my thing is, because I was talking to someone.
Ooh.
And
who are you talking to, or you can't say?
So a WWE loyalist, I may say.
Somebody on the inside?
They said, to be fair, the way it's set up, it's about strategy. And I said, okay, here's my thing, though. If it's about strategy and you're trying to hold on to some guys, what if, and again, I'm not a sports guy, so maybe this doesn't work, but like, what if each GM right off the bat says, okay, obviously we know champions aren't drafted, whatever the fuck. If there's like injured guys or whatever, which I think they try to make the case, but then still drafted Seth Rollins. What if each GM gets to pick 3 to 4 guys right off the rip where they go back and forth? It's like
They're untouchable.
you can't draft these guys.
Yep.
As part of my strategy, like you cannot pick these guys no matter what.
I had 5. I'm thinking the same idea as you. You and I did not talk about this ahead of time, but I
Okay.
was thinking the same thing. You get 5 guys, each GM, and you go, look, these guys aren't going anywhere.
Yes. And so
Excluding NXT, because now I see the way they're doing it. It looks like you're getting a promotion.
yes.
And I think that's cool.
That is cool. But like the way that these guys were drafted after that, like nearly no one is moving from a show.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what they were expecting from the live crowd, but when you announce like LA Knight's been drafted to SmackDown, the show he's already on, like the announcers have to try to sell this, and like the crowd is just dead.
Bro, I couldn't even remember, though. Like, when they were saying, like, Bianca Belair is the number 1 pick of what brand? SmackDown?
She got picked to SmackDown.
Okay, and she's already on SmackDown, right? But I couldn't remember in the moment. Is she on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Is she on Raw?
Right.
LA Knight's going to SmackDown, and they're saying he's going to SmackDown, and I'm going, I thought he was on that brand. I guess not. I guess he was a Raw guy. And then I'm like, no, wait a minute. And it's just confusing.
So Roman was not going to be a part of the draft. He took himself out of the draft voluntarily. But like of all the guys, no disrespect because I think he's awesome. Like either pick 1 or 2 or 3 or something was Carmelo Hayes. Now, if I'm a GM, okay, and I could pick anybody, I could pick Randy Orton. I could pick fucking Seth Rollins, apparently.
Yeah.
All these top guys.
Yeah.
Why would I pull up Carmelo Hayes?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's why I think that you should have an NXT pool. Like, each brand gets to pick, say, 3 from NXT.
Yeah.
So that way you don't run into this problem. Maybe he's the number 1 pick from the feeder brand, but he can't be the number 1 pick overall, or however they want to say it, because why? Exactly what you're saying. Why wouldn't you pick somebody who's a reliable champion and a proven ratings draw if you're the GM that's trying to make your brand successful?
They did this whole thing to recruit Braun Breaker, and they signed him to SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now he's been drafted to Raw after all that.
Yeah. Jade Cargill just went through the same thing where she had to pick. She finally chose that she was going to be on SmackDown. Now, she could be drafted to Raw.
Yeah.
Her tag team partner was.
Yes.
Which it looks like they're a tag team because they show them backstage.
She was drafted to SmackDown.
Who was?
Bianca.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then, but Jade could get drafted to Raw.
She could.
Because they weren't in the pool together.
Yeah.
Which is still a thing that I think they need to work on. You get to draft the whole bloodline?
Yes, that's the thing. And Jey Uso got drafted to SmackDown, which we know the result of the match with fucking Damian Priest, who's not going to beat Damian Priest, right?
Jay? I thought he was drafted to Raw.
He got drafted to SmackDown.
He's not on Raw anymore?
He got he won't be starting in May when they reset this. So he got.
Oh crap! I don't even think that's true. Is that true?
I'm pretty positive. Let me double check. I stand corrected. He's staying on Raw. Okay.
Okay. So, but here's my thing then: draft Jimmy to Raw,
Yeah.
and then Naomi on Raw,
Mm-hmm.
and then at Survivor Series we can have Bloodline versus Bloodline.
We could potentially do that. Why? See, okay.
But I don't know why they all got to be on separate brands. But I don't think you want them interacting until then. Although whenever they're ready, they'll just somebody will allow them on that brand.
They tried to save it with saying on commentary that they don't necessarily know what they're getting with Tama Tonga.
Yeah.
Why the bloodline was drafted so low. But as much as the bloodline has done, the fact that they were drafted so low was kind of ridiculous. And even without Roman Reigns and your current number one contender for the WWE Championship is AJ Styles, and he was drafted in the final round, making him just look like a scrub.
Yep.
Like, what do we do? Also, I didn't like that, not only was the draft boring, really nothing of consequence happened between Cody and AJ in that
Weird they ended
signing.
with a good handshake. Like, I would have settled for, it's been done a million times before, but they could have done a handshake because Cody's the upstanding gentleman, good sport.
Yeah.
And then AJ could have just kicked him in the balls again or something.
Sure.
Or attacked him from behind.
Yeah.
Or in his behind.
Well, whatever works, you know.
Yeah, in the shower. We washing up late at night.
Them picking Carmelo Hayes early might be fine. I mean, they tried it right off the rip, put him with Cody, which other than that spot that didn't go correctly towards the end, it took me a second to realize what they were trying to do there. I thought initially, I'm like, wait, were they both like trying to do like we both went for cutters and didn't get it? But then I realized, like, I think what they were trying to do was Cody was going to cutter Carmelo in the air once they both springboard off of opposite ropes. Didn't pan out. Luckily, Cody didn't get hurt from all accounts. We haven't heard anything.
Oh, I heard he was.
Where?
It's on all the websites today.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Are
what
you
people
lying?
at work have told me. And, they love their wrestling.
People at your job?
Yeah.
The
consumers,
job
the clients.
with adults with developmental disabilities?
But what do adults with developmental disabilities love the most?
They do love wrestling.
Okay, then.
That is a true statement.
And it's WWE website and all the wrestling websites are in the favorites there. For the struggle.
What did you say?
I come for the struggle.
Okay. Can we talk about real quick how dumb that War Room is, too?
Yeah, I liked it better when that robot was in there. The Fox football robot.
Oh, if you insert a robot into any situation, it just makes it better.
Dude, man, you
Except
know what?
for AI. AI is scary.
W?
No. Well, we don't like that.
Remember
but
Dick Justice was a robot? RoboCop. Robo-Dick.
Yeah, he really failed me in
Yeah.
that situation. Supposed to save me from that cage and Veda Scott, but he did not. Anyways,
I miss Veda Scott. How's she doing these days? Do you ever talk to her?
I haven't talked to her in a second, but she's doing a lot of commentary work, so good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, the War Room thing is not good. You were saying some stuff off air about it, about how, they're doing the 4 picks in a row and blah blah.
Yeah.
Lay it out again.
So like, how are you mad in the War Room or happy about the pick that you got? You knew you were going to get that pick, but you pick 4 people. It seems like because they announce like 4 people at a time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if I'm Raw and I draft Ricochet back to my brand?
Yeah.
Okay, in SmackDown, it's their turn to pick. Now they've put down on that card that they're drafting Ricochet.
Sure.
But that's never happened. So, that would kind of, if you're going to do it like this, then maybe like you have to do something like that. And then they have to scramble to bump up their next pick or pick someone else in that spot or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe you get 2 NXT guys or I don't know. There's got to be some kind of consequence. Like everybody, it just goes too smoothly.
There is some work.
Like
that
nobody
needs to be
from
done.
Raw wants to, pick somebody that's on SmackDown and vice versa.
Yeah. So, like I said, we will talk about what happens on the Raw draft in the extended version of the podcast, along with some other shenanigans. But real quick, before we start to wrap up the show, I want to mention this. There's a lot of backlash on social media. It seems to have died down over the last week, but maybe I'm missing something. Becky Lynch won the Women's World Championship Battle Royal. Last ousting Liv Morgan. This was after Rhea Ripley vacated the championship. A lot of people on social media really thought Liv Morgan should win the match. Because she's the one that injured Rhea Ripley, and they wanted to see something different. But this is why these people on social media are just fans and not bookers, because it made perfect sense, and you could see it coming if you knew what you were looking for, that for sure Becky Lynch was going to win this Battle Royal. Am I right or am I wrong?
I thought that Becky Lynch should have won it. That was my pick. If you didn't delete the episode, everybody could have heard that I picked Becky Lynch to win over Liv Morgan. You picked Liv Morgan though on the show.
I did not.
You sure did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. I did not. You lying sack of shit. No one will ever know the true answer because that
You
podcast
were like,
got deleted.
Liv deserves it so much. She should win it in a battle royal.
I did not say that.
No, that's not
I
what
did
you
not
said.
say that.
That you did not say, but you did pick Liv.
No, I didn't.
Okay, you picked Indy Hartwell.
Yeah.
Indie wrestling.
That's who I picked. Anyways, look, Liv Morgan will win the championship in a match that has meaning. I mean, it's not like the battle royal wouldn't work. Like there needs to be
there's no fire then for for your reign.
Yeah.
You started off in a battle royal, and Becky don't need that because she's already made. Yeah, Liv won it from Ronda that time, but I didn't even remember that until I saw it on the graphic.
Liv needs to do something to steal the championship from Becky right before, of course, we get the return of course, Rhea Ripley. Anything you want to talk about before we start to do some questions and wrap up here?
You know what? I was just thinking. I don't know if there's anything more that I love in life than questions from our listeners.
Okay.
I just want to get right to it. I'm so hot and horny.
Over the chat over on the Patreon, which is the thing we could do over there now. Double J says, for Greg, have you ever tagged with your younger brother, Zach? Would you want to work with him more? Yeah, I tagged with him one time in, I believe, Marion, Ohio. I feel like it wasn't Marion, but somewhere in like the middle of Ohio.
I'd rather be in Marion.
But now
Fontaine.
Now that we're in 440 together, I could see us tagging more in the future. He's a good athletic young man, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds for us brothers.
What's his name now?
Still Zach Thomas.
Does he have a nickname? Because he used to be
Grimy.
Suplex Machine or something, right?
No. He's Grimy.
Grimy Zach Thomas?
He's Grimy.
Okay.
Grimy.
I don't know. That's not the worst.
No.
Do you like it?
I don't mind it.
What's the character?
He's grimy. He's real dirty, gross.
Can you have him send me a promo?
Send him a message.
I don't have his number.
For Aaron and Greg.
Ooh.
What are your plans for SummerSlam?
Oh, I can't divulge mine.
You are what? Why not?
Nothing. Because there's something on the table that may not be happening. So if it is, then I'll see you guys at SummerSlam. And if it's not, then I won't see you guys at SummerSlam.
Well, I'll be sitting in the crowd for sure, unless some life-changing event happens where I'm on the card, which I in no way...
What if you were backstage doing a podcast or whatever?
I don't think that's going to happen either, but I'm looking forward to it. Cleveland Browns Stadium, first time there's ever been a wrestling event there. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and probably the last, too, because I think they're going to shut it down.
Yeah, you think they're actually going to move it to...
Brook Park?
Yeah.
Where we used to wrestle.
Yeah, that's wild, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, and we were always like, afraid of that neighborhood. That's a spot where Pinky's Famous Saloon is. And,
oh, boy.
You know, there's a lot of hookers and stuff around that area. But I think that they turned Pinky's into like a tire shop.
Yeah. We wouldn't want to put the stadium in like an area where there could be a bunch of hookers and bums or anything like that downtown Cleveland.
Yeah.
From Jason over on Patreon.
Bane?
No. In Perrier. In indie wrestling, what is the best time for a payoff spot, big fall, blood, etc.? And I asked him to elaborate on this. He said he was taking pictures Friday at a show, and there was a no DQ main event with a blood spot in front of 50 fans outside with dark skies and not quite bright lights. Is that a time that you switch plans where there doesn't seem to be a payoff? Well, like, if it's for an angle, then you would have to do it. But also, if no one can see it, then what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So, like, you have to plan these things accordingly. And, like, in indie wrestling, there's a lot of variables involved. And, unfortunately, like, you hope, like, okay, if it's dark outside at least, then maybe, there'll be some lights to where the camera can at least get a good shot for video. But also, sometimes you can't rely on cameramen to get good shots on indie wrestling. So, it's like, there have been so many times on indie shows where I'm like, okay, visually, this is what I'm imagining for this moment. This is how it's going to look, and I'm going to make this facial expression at this moment to convey this emotion to the camera, and then they don't even have that fucking shot on me.
No,
and
they're
it's just
not
a waste
even
of
on
time.
you. Yep.
Yeah.
I gave up on all that, and no reason for blood. And look, when I was a kid and when I was growing up and first got into wrestling, I read all like shoot interviews, Torch Talk and stuff, and the famous line, and it's still being used to this day, is, I wrestle the same in front of 20 people as I do in front of 20,000 people. What? Why the fuck would you do that?
Right.
Because one of them, there's only 20 people.
Yeah,
And then 20,000, you could do blood.
for sure.
And if you got the right, equipment and the right people to work the technology and to get your close-ups and stuff like that, and the right lighting.
Yeah.
Remember that time we did, we switched one time. I was supposed to get bloodied and beaten to a pulp by Raven after I turned against him for not beating Jason Bane.
Yes, this was PWO Resolution 3.
And the pitch was that this feud with me and Bane would end. Bane would hit me with the F5, and Raven would come in and get the color for me.
Yeah.
Just start making me bleed. Well, we were talking in the back, and Raven's like, I don't even want to do that. It's not comfortable for me because we don't even have a problem. We're going to have a problem where you are mad at me because I didn't beat that guy. So I would open you up with blood and, make you bleed, and you're off TV for a long time, and then we don't know if I'm coming back, so what's the payoff here?
Right.
And so we switched, and Raven said, you know what this calls for? And that's when he said, could I get a bra and some panties? And he would just rip my clothes off. And we did that, and that ended up being too hot for TV. And it was banned.
Even back then.
Yeah.
Can you imagine now?
Yeah. Hey, but people can't kink shame me.
That's fair. That's also fair. Josh Newman, Josh Excellence asks, are we in a / I don't think he put a... Oh, are we in a / the golden age of wrestling? I think we are in a.
Yeah, I don't know. Golden Age sounds old to me, so let me bump that up one. And it's like the white golden age. Like a white gold. Like, it's not just gold. It's like... platinum. This could be the platinum age.
So you want a whites only age in wrestling? Is that what you're saying? You didn't make this episode racist enough. You've been racist to the core this whole episode, and now you take it here.
Well, I hate all of them.
Well, you know what? I don't think your black son, your actual African-American son, would take too kindly.
He's not African-American. He's Jamaican-American. And you're Jamaican me crazy.
Okay, you beat me to it. Damn it.
What was that guy's name? Adam Lee.
Mike Adam Lee. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He got to rest his soul.
I think we are in one of those times in professional wrestling that is much like, the mid to late 80s WWF, much like the late 90s WWF, Monday Night Wars with WCW and, the rise of ECW. I think it took us a little bit longer. Those two time periods, when you think about it, there was only about a 7-8 year gap. It took us almost 25 years to get back to like another really hot time in professional wrestling. And I think I didn't really realize how crazy it was in the Attitude Era because I was a kid, and I definitely didn't realize what I was experiencing. I mean, I got in as the hot period was coming down in 1990, right? So I'm glad that I am conscious and aware of the idea that this is a very, very white hot period in professional wrestling, and I'm not only happy to be a part of it, but I'm happy to be watching, and it's incredible, and I hope everybody really understands that we're in it as it's happening, because what's the saying, like you don't realize you're in the good old days when it's happening.
Yeah, because they're not the good old days.
Right.
Like everything I think about now, I go, oh man, that was the good old days when I was in high school. Yeah, high school.
Let me see if I got any more questions here. Eric says, do you make your girlfriend wear your wrestling tees as you make whoopee with her? If so, which ones? No. I don't want my girlfriend to wear wrestling tees while I don't want her to wear any T-shirt if we're having intercourse.
Oh no, I like a T-shirt.
What?
Yep, it was my very first real when I thought of some fantasy I wanted with a girl that I was making out with at the time.
Okay.
I thought, man, I'm gonna get a shirt, and that way she can wear my shirt and nothing else, and we'll make out. And we did.
Wow.
The good old days.
Okay.
I didn't know they were good or
Josh
old.
Excellence followed that up with he probably makes her wear the Val Venus one that looks like it's written in man juice. Eric assumed that I would make her wear a Rod Destiny shirt.
Oh.
Is,
I thought you'd make her wear a Velveteen Dream shirt, but I realized that you're not some kind of sicko, twisted pervert that would wear a Velveteen Dream shirt
Eric
all
has
around.
all the stock in the Velveteen Dream shirts.
He's all like, "Oh, Jack, wear this shirt of Velveteen Dream while we make whoopee."
Oh, boy. That's all the Patreon questions we have right now. I'll take a couple from the social media. Mark Mackay says, do you wear your own merch out in public? Like walk around and have strangers ask, who is Gregory Iron? And you responded with, oh, hi, I'm a huge fan of independent pro wrestling superstar Greg Iron. Who am I? What's up? I'm Greg Iron. No, I don't. There have been occasions where I had to wear my own shirt because I didn't have anything else in that moment, but I don't walk around with my shirt. I try to avoid it. I have nice shirts, though, available at ProWrestlingTees.com/Gregory Iron, though. I will say that. But I did get recognized without having a shirt on, just having a regular shirt on.
Oh, okay.
At Brew Nuts Donuts this weekend. A guy walks up to me and he goes...
I'm picturing you at Brew Nuts Donuts with no shirt on and real short shorts, and I like that.
No, I had a shirt on, and guy walks up to me and goes, Gregory Iron? And I go, that's me. He goes... I love Buster Buckaroo, big fan. And I'm like, well, I love him too, but, thank you for recognizing me. Of course, Buster Buckaroo performs for Old Wrestling, which they have a show coming up in the very near future that he will be a part of, that being Buster Buckaroo. That'll be May 18th in Cleveland, Ohio. So check out the Old Wrestling, OLDE, social media accounts for that.
The good old wrestling.
Yes, the good old days of wrestling.
Still never been booked there.
Maybe you got to reach out to the
booker.
booker.
One of these days I gotta do something that'll get me noticed.
I want to point out before we start to wrap up here that this weekend I will be in wrestling action. I will be performing at Mega Championship Wrestling out in Elyria, Ohio at the Lorain County Fieldhouse, part of the college. It sounds worse when you just call it a field house, like it's outside in a barn or something.
Well, no, Rocket Mortgage is the field house now, too.
Oh, I guess so. All right,
yeah,
cool.
but I was the same with you. I thought, okay, that's like Wyoming or, that's Indiana or something. It would have, fields of house.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, but the Mega Wrestling Show, it supports our friends at the Murray Ridge Center.
I work there. I have not been contacted to work the show, although I stated my availability. So just putting that out there.
He'll be there.
I might not.
So not only come out to see pro wrestling, but support a great cause. Our friends at Murray Ridge Center.
And those 6 hours will fly by.
It's not going to be a 6-hour show. Come on, Jesus.
No, they've changed.
And then on Sunday, I'll be wrestling in Avon, Ohio for Ruthless Championship Wrestling. It's going to be 440 versus 440 as I take on Big Al, Alice Crawley.
Mrs. Crowley. Do I sound like Ozzy?
Yep. So that's where I'll be this weekend. But
hey, that show interests me.
You're going to come to the show?
I didn't say all that. Maybe if I was booked.
Technically, my middle name is Alan, so it's going to be Al versus Al.
And you know what my favorite song was in 1987?
What's that?
You Can Call Me Al.
It's a good song. Chevy Chase
in
that video.
He didn't sing that song.
He's in the video, though.
Yeah, he is. Paul Simon.
Yeah.
He's a singer.
Yeah.
He was in a group called Simon and Garfunkel.
I understand that.
Not Simon and Chevy.
Okay. So. Before we actually start the plugs, though,
yeah.
I wanted to ask you something. What do you think of this statement right here? Just want to get your thoughts here.
Is it gay to suck your own dick?
Did we do this
last?
last?
The greatest philosophers known to man have failed to answer this question. For me, it's quite simple. Is jacking off gay? Of course not. So why would sucking on your own penis be gay? Think about that. The next time you're alone and naked, Is it gay to suck?
All right. So I want Aaron, I want you to think about that, and I want all the listeners out there to think about your answer to that question and reconvene with me next week.
Yeah.
All
Or
right.
leave a comment.
Leave a comment below. What do you think of the matter? And until then, hey, follow us on social media at Iron Wrestling. Subscribe to us over on YouTube. And as I said, I don't know if Spotify will have the podcast this week. I don't know what the F's going on. If not, I'll have the regular episode available free to download. If you want the extended version, of course, you can sign up at patreon.com/ironwrestling. If the regular version will also be on Patreon, but you can get the extended version there for a little bit of money, $3, and a buttload of bonus episodes. $5, you get bonus video. $9, you can be involved in the Zoom chat, which we'll potentially be having this week if I have the time. You can go up and up in tiers, get stuff in the mail. Ryan Egan, if you're listening, we need you back in studio, buddy. Where you at? Sending out well wishes to Ryan Egan's family and his dad. Hope everything's good. I know I'm sending well wishes publicly, but I'll send you a text, my friend. Make sure everything's okay. And, if you want to support the show, ProWrestlingTees.com/Gregory Iron to buy my shirts, Aaron shirts, Iron on Wrestling shirts.
They're not $5.50 despite what the website
There
says.
is false advertising on Google about that. You can find me on social media at Gregory Iron on X, Gregory_Iron on Instagram, Facebook.com/The Handicapped Hero. And go to Cameo. You can buy a Cameo from me. I've got some shirts that you can buy from me directly. Just send me a DM, and we can make something happen for ya. Aaron, what would you like to plug?
Nothing for me outside of I just wanted to lend this plug out there for the Shred with Ed. Shred with Ed was diagnosed with cancer, testicular first, and it looks like there's more now, even though they got rid of that. It may have spread.
That's not good.
But we're not focusing on the negative. We're focusing on the positive. So if you look up Shred with Ed and help Shred with Ed kickflip cancer, you can help by just sharing a post or liking a post or donating money or whatever. But I just want there to be a lot of support for a guy who's given a lot to the community. So
There you go.
there we go. Look up Shred with Ed, and Shred for Ed is what they're altering the name now.
Gotcha. And yes, best wishes to Ed and in his battle. And until next week, come on back, check out the show, and we will see you then. Until then, here's a cool, calm, collective kiss goodbye.
I kiss on the face, but people would like to be
Jesus.
cool.
Look, that's the worst Carlito impression. Carlito Caribbean kiss.